welcome. Welcome to our last ever lockdown yoga session. Hope you're well. So this morning, yoga for strong, toned arms. Every day on our yoga mat's different. Some days you feel really strong and you can hold poses for a few more breaths. Other days it feels good to just take it easy with some nice gentle stretches. I hope you're feeling strong today. There are planks and side planks involved. But as always, work within your own ability, listen to your body. Be particularly careful if you have any wrist or shoulder issues today. Okay, let's get started. Hope you enjoy the practice, everyone. We're going to start today in the extended child's pose. So if you come towards the back of your mats, have the big toes touching and take the knees nice comfortable distance apart. So just snuggling your bottom down there. And you're sliding the hands away. Rest your forehead on the mat and rest your elbows as well. So nice relaxed pose to start off with. Close your eyes here and take your focus inwards. You're taking your focus to your breath. Shutting off the outside world. Just bringing yourself into your yoga practice. Breathing in and out through the nose. Let your body, your breath, your mind settle. One more breath here. Then come to your fingertips. The body stays like this. Just come to your fingertips and creep your fingers away. So you're starting to incorporate a nice stretch into this pose, bringing a bit of energy into it. Stretching out through the spine, the sides, and the area we're focusing on today, the shoulders and knees. Keep that length. We're taking it into a side stretch. So hands go over to the left and actually come off the mat, and you shift your head over to the left as well. So you should be getting a nice stretch right side of the body. Okay, 2 breaths in. Let's take that over to the other side then. So take the hands over to the right, off the mat, shift the head over to the right to stretch out the left side of the body. And keep that left sitting bone down towards the heel. 2 more breaths. And breathe. Okay, we're coming to the centre and we're coming to our forearms. So your knees are underneath your hips, elbows underneath your shoulders, and you're just going to have the palms lightly touching. We've done this a couple of times before in class. It's a baby dolphin pose that we're going to work with our breath. Before we begin, think about applying your internal lock. So drawing up pelvic floor, pulling belly button back towards the spine. Next, in breath, rock forwards. And next out breath, rock back. So you're keeping forearms in contact with the mat. Take that a couple more times. It's an in-breath to come forward as far as you feel comfortable with. You'll start to feel it in the arms and core. And an out-breath to come back. Let's take that one more time. So rock forward one more time. And rock back one more time. Back so your shoulders are positioned above your elbows. We're coming up to all fours. So the wrists are underneath the elbows now. Apply your hand lock, spreading fingers, gripping fingertips into mat. We're holding our cow pose and then holding cat stretch. So relax through the tummy as you send your gaze and your chest forwards. Cow pose. Are your elbows locked? You're strong in the arms. Pausing here for 2 breaths. Take it into our cat stretch. Push downwards with hands and knees. Dome the back, your chins to your chest, your pelvis towards your navel. And you're drawing up pelvic floor, pulling your belly button back towards the spine. Let's pause here. Push down into the mat with those hands.
Okay, and release. Okay, little wrist strengthening exercise. We've done this one as well before. It's our hand rotations. So you're just simply transferring the weight from one hand to the next as you externally rotate your hands. Just move a little bit at a time. Walk your hands round as far as you can. You've got round as far as they're going to go. Spread the fingers, push fingers into the mat and really push down. So keep your elbows locked if you can. Feel that lovely stretch on the inside of your wrist. Let's take that the other way. So you come around a little bit at a time inwards. As far around as they go. When they've got as far as they go, pause there again, elbows locked, really push down into the mat with those hands. And release. Okay. Our modified side plank, building up to the real thing later on in the practice. Left knee, I think we'll go over to the left first. So pivot on the left knee as you take your left foot off the mat. Let's flip onto our left side as you take right hand up. Really push into your right foot. Reach up right hand. If you're ready to stretch, you're pushing into the mat with that left. And release. Let's come back to centre. We'll take that modified side plank other side. Pivot on right knee as your right foot comes off the mat. Flip onto your right and reach up to the ceiling with your left. So last week we did this version when we were reaching across. We're just reaching up this week. Really push down into your right so you can reach up even more with your left. Okay, and release. We're coming down onto the forearms again. So again, elbows underneath your shoulders. This time interlacing the fingers, so you're making one big fist with your both hands. Dolphin pose with breath, so effectively knee lifts. Turn the toes. Again, engage the core, so applying your internal works. Your gaze is towards your hands. Next, in breath, you're sending the sitting bones up and back, dolphin pose. And as you breathe out with control, lower back down. How does that feel? We're going to take that a couple more times. So breath in to lift. And the breath out to lower. You're working with your breath. It's nice, smooth, slow, controlled movements. Let's take it one more time. Breathe in. And breathe out, really nice. Keep the hands as they are. We're taking it into a variation of child's pose. So resting on the tops of your feet. Take your bottom back to your heels. And take a couple of breaths rest. Okay, and release. So you're still on your forearms. This time, so you've got your hips above your knees. This time, release the hands and have the palms facing down. So still keep the elbows there underneath your shoulders. But really push down into the mat this time so you can get your chest lifted away from the mat. We are coming into a forearm plank. I don't think we've done any of these in our lockdown yoga sessions. So nice and strong in the arms, shoulder muscles engaged. Let's send the right leg back first. Push into the ball of the foot. Push your, suck your thigh muscle up to your thigh bone. Let's take left leg back to join neck. Tilting pelvis towards the navel, spine's long. Stretching from your heels to the crown of your head. How is this feeling? We're pausing for 3 breaths. For 2, keep pushing into the mat. For 1, well done. Let's lower the knees. We're coming to thunderbolt pose. So resting on the tops of the feet. You come into a kneeling position, just stretching out. So taking the arms up, interlace the fingers, and the palms upwards. Really stretch that out through the upper body to release. Okay, so we've got a little routine now. We're going to do it 3 times. Each time we do it, we're increasing the intensity. You'll be pleased to know. So let's set our tabletop position then. Coming into downward facing dog, nice soft kneed version of the pose. Let's turn the toes, send the sitting bones up and back. Soften the knees. Push into the mat with your hands so your focus is on that lengthening of the sides of body. We did that last week. Lengthening through the spine and particularly feeling that lovely stretch in the arms. Hand lock applied, elbows locked, neck is soft. Keep the knees as though you can hold it like this, or if you want to, you know, we do this often, walking your dog. It's up to you. Just keep the legs nice and soft. 2 more breaths. Perfect. Let's release down to all fours. Rest on the tops of the feet. Just take your bottom back from your from your knees, and stretch the hands away. An extended child's pose. The forehead is down. You're on your fingertips, really creeping them away. I'm on the ball of my foot because I'm still working with knee issues. That's why I've got the padding. Stretch out in your extended child's pose. We're coming down into a prone position now. So you're coming to lay on your tummy. A baby cobra. Hands underneath your shoulders. So if I'm looking at you from above, I won't be able to see your hands. Elbows, so I don't see them, I can't see them, but they should be out to the side. Let's have them tucked in, pinned into your ribs. Next, in-breath is a lift of the chest, a lift of the gaze. Really pushing into your hands and focusing on what's going on with your arms. Keep these shoulders away from the ears. Keep the elbows pinned in. Pausing for 3, 2, for 1. Let's push back into a child's pose to release. Just a couple of breaths. And then come back to all fours. Let's take that sequence again. Like I say, getting a little bit stronger. Turn the toes, push up, downward facing dog. Soften the knees like before, so you can really push into the mat, get your chest close to the thighs. Keep that lovely length we all had in the upper body first time round, but this time we'll start to sink the heels down, so you're getting a stretch in the legs as well. Pausing here for 3 breaths. For 2, for 1. Lower the knees, keep your hips above the knees this time. We're taking our heart centre pose. Stretch the hands away, have the mat distance. Send the sitting bones back slightly as you stretch the hands away. You're resting on your forehead. Strong on the shoulders, nice stretch. Pause for 2 more breaths. And then come down onto your tummy again. So feet as before, hip distance, resting on the tops of the feet. Hands underneath your shoulders, just as we had before, and elbows be pinned in. Really strong in the arms. We're coming up again, this time a bit higher. We don't want to have the arms, the elbows locked. You're still keeping a bend in the arms. Really pin those elbows to your ribs. Chest and gaze forwards and push your hips down into the mat. So you come into a higher cobra position. Shoulders away from the ears. If this is too much for your lower back, come into that lower position or even take a Sphinx pose. 2 more breaths here. Let's take a child's pose to release. Just stretch that back. And then come back to your all fours position. How are we doing? So our 3rd time at this sequence then, turning the toes, downward facing dog. Set your downward facing dog as before. You're grounding through the feet and hands, 3-legged dog this time. Next in-breath, you're sweeping your right leg. So you come onto the ball of that left foot. You push your chest close to left thigh. Keep right leg where it is, then sink that left heel down. Nice stretch. 2 more breaths. Good. And release. Maybe pedal that out in the middle. We're ready to go left side. Next in-breath, left leg goes high. Onto the ball of the foot, you can stretch up even more. And push chest to thigh as you sink that right heel. And release, lovely. Okay, so knees coming down to the mat. Again, hips above the knees, heart center pose again. Bit stronger this time maybe. Let's slide the hands away. This time rest on your chest and chin. If this isn't for you, rest on the forehead like previous, or even take your extended child's pose. Really stretching it out. Hold it for 2 more breaths. Now we're coming down onto our tummies. Initially position the hands where we had them for our 2 variations of cobra. So underneath your shoulders, you're pinning these elbows in, feet hip distance. It's an in-breath lift, so you're in your low cobra pose. Next in-breath, lifting a bit higher, so you're in this higher cobra, your traditional version of cobra pose. Breath here. Then we're going to lock the elbows. So nice strong straight arms. Notice your hips lift up off the mat. You can keep it here, or you can walk your hands in a bit closer towards your body. So you'll notice you're sort of bringing them back underneath the shoulders here. Lengthen through the front of the body and take your eyes towards the ceiling. If you want more, you can push into the tops of your feet. Suck your thigh muscles towards your thigh bones and hover your thighs off the mat. So you've come into upward facing dog. Wherever you are with this pose, we're pausing for 3, for 2, for 1, with care and slowly release. Let's take a nice child's pose to release the back. Oh, that's strong on the back. Maybe give it a bit of a rub if you need to. I'll just pause here for 3 or 4 breaths. Really stretching through the lower back. So coming on out. We're going to do a couple of standing poses now. Give the back a little bit of a rest before we progress with this sequence. So back to your tabletop position. Turn the toes coming into downward facing dog. You're taking your gaze between your thumbs and you're walking your feet to your hands. We're taking dangling pose. So hold on to the elbows and let the weight of your head carry forwards. No tension in the upper body at all. Just let it all hang loose. Rolling up, keep holding on to the elbows, slowly roll to an upright position, keep that chin into the chest till the last minute. And take the arms back alongside the ears. Reaching the hands up towards the ceiling, you're going to interlace the fingers, so like we did in Thunderbolt pose earlier on. Turn the palms to face the ceiling. Reach up with the arms, take the gaze upwards. And really push down into the mat with your feet. So stretch that out. Wriggle around in the pose a little bit if that feels good on the back. And release. We're taking a forward fold. Let's interlace the fingers behind. Just make sure your feet are hip distance, maybe slightly wider. So with fingers interlaced, you're squeezing shoulder blades and lifting the arms away from your back. Feel that lovely stretch in the arms. Chest is lifted, gaze is also lifted. Couple of breaths here. breath, fold feet. Bending forwards at the hips. Squeeze the shoulder blades some more. Get these arms away from your back some more. Sitting bones up, crown of head down. Arms come away from your back. Enjoy the stretch. Pausing for 3 breaths. For 2. For 1. Keep the hands as they are. Push into the feet as you come up. And then release. How you're feeling okay. A little sequence now, beginning with, well, it's all from Warrior One. So from your mountain pose, we're going to step back left foot. Back foot's 45-degree angle. We've discussed this before, unless you need to modify for ankle, knee or hip issues. Sink hips low. Ground your feet into the mat. And we're going to reach the hands out in front. So you're interlacing the fingers. You've got this nice stretch going on between the shoulder blades. Nice stretch in the arms. Have your gaze downwards to begin with. One more breath here. We're going to take the arms up alongside the ears. So, 2 options. You can either have, this thunderbolt position we had with the hands and in our upward facing mountain, or you can bring your palms together. Fingertips reaching up, hips sinking low. Your chest and your gaze are forwards. We're releasing the hands, taking goddess arms this time. So elbows in line with your shoulders, palms facing forwards. It's a squeeze of the shoulder blades as you take the elbows back. Chest lifts a little bit more. Let's take the gaze upwards this time. In for 2 breaths. Release your hands behind. We're coming into devotional warrior. Interlace the fingers, squeeze and lift. Next, out breath, bow down, shoulder to knee. As you take your gaze towards your back foot. Squeeze those elbows and away from your back. One more breath. Breathe in to come up. Release the hands and take one big step to the top of the mat. Maybe walk it out. And let's take that sequence then, other side. So from mountain pose, right leg comes back. Foot's at a 45-degree angle. Sink the hips low, deep bend left leg. Reach the hands forwards and stretch the arms and the shoulders out. Gaze is down. Now take the arms up alongside the ears, so either keep the fingers interlaced with the palms up or bring your palms together. Chest and gaze forwards. Keep sinking the hips, pushing your feet into the mat. Release the hands and take goddess arms. You squeeze and lift the gaze, the chest upwards this time. Hands behind, we're taking devotional warrior. It's a squeeze and a lift as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, bow forwards. Taking your gaze to your back foot. 2 more breaths. And release. Stepping to the top of the mat, let's walk it out. Okay, we're coming down, so we're going to roll down into a dangling pose and then take a squat. So towards the top of your mats then, I think we'll take the feet just a little bit wider than your hips. And you can set the feet here actually, so if you take them 10 to 2, so toes slightly out to the side. Let's take hold of the elbows, chin to chest, and roll down. Pop the opportunity to release any tension in your lower back, upper body, shoulders, arms before we move on. Okay. Release your fingertips to the mats for the knees, and let's bob the bottom down. We're coming into a squat. How's that feeling? For the lower back and hips. We are coming from here into a high plank. Let's set the hands. So spread the fingertips and apply your hand lock. So you're really, pushing your hands down into the mat. You're locking your elbows, your shoulders are strong. Step one leg back, step the other leg back. High plank position. Tilting pelvis towards me. You're lengthening through the spine all the way to the crown of the head. Thigh muscles sucked up to thigh bones as you push the heels away. You're engaging every single muscle in your body as we hold this for 3, for 2, for 1. Let's release the knees down. Just take an extended child's pose. Couple of breaths. And we're going to reset that plank position. Plank into side plank this time. So from all fours, take one leg back and the other and come to exactly the same position we were just in. We're going to flip over to the left this time. So you can either keep your right foot in front or you can stack your right foot on top of your left. Let's reach up to the ceiling right hand. So really push down left to reach up even more with the right. This right leg can stay where it is, or you can take a bend, or you can even float that foot towards the ceiling. Whatever you're feeling this morning. Okay, let's release. Roll back to our plank position. Just reset this. We're going to take it to the other side. Let's flip onto our right. Left foot in front or left foot stacked. Left hand reaches up towards the ceiling. Everything's strong and engaged. You can take a bend in that left leg or you can take a lift. For 3, for 2, for 1 and release. Come back to your high plank position. Lower the knees and release. Are we all feeling okay? Are we feeling good? How are those wrists and shoulders? Okay. We are coming up, we're coming to a downward facing dog and then from there into our high plank. We're going to do a pose called Chaturanga Dandasana. We've not done this in our lockdown yoga sessions, but we have done it quite a few times in our sun salutations in our normal classes. So we'll see how we get on with this. Set your tabletop pose, nice and strong. Let's turn the toes, lift up, downward facing dog. And now roll over the shoulders to come into your high plank position. So feel free to sort of wriggle around to find that nice plank position. Think about your elbows when we were in our cobra poses. You were really pinning your elbows into your ribs. Same applies here for Chaturanga. So basically what we're doing is lowering down to the mat, but before our belly touches the mat, we're hovering. Engage everything, feel strong, believe you can and you will. Bending the arms, let's lower and hover. So your gaze is towards the top of your mat. Chaturanga for 3, for 2, for 1. We're going to rock forwards and either come into your upward facing dog or come into your cobra pose. Again, pausing for 3, for 2, for 1. Let's come into downward facing dog. Well done, everyone. How did that go? I want videos. Okay, let's just walk it out. So you can stay here in your downward facing dog, or if you prefer just come into a child's pose to catch your breath. We've got one last drill from downward facing dog, elbow to knee to middle to opposite knee, and then we're coming into rock star. If you can remember, we worked on that sort of around week 8, week 9, something like that. So it's basically a variation of the side plank. Okay, let's go. Let's come into our tabletop position. Let's turn the toes and lift into downward facing dog. Three-legged dog. Now we've already done this today. Next, in breath, right leg goes high. This time we're going to take a bend in the right leg. So nice, slow and controlled, working with breath. Next, out breath, right knee to right elbow. So glide forwards. Nice version of a plank. Let's breathe in, three-legged dog. Next out breath, knee towards your nose, so towards the centre, a slight rounding of the back here. Breathe in, three-legged dog. Breathe out, knee to opposite elbow. So you've got like a plank and a twist. Hover for 3, for 2, for 1. Flick that foot through. Flip onto your right side and reach up with your left hand. You've come into rock star pose. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. And release. Step back into your high plank position. You can either, at this stage, take an extended child's pose or take our little vinyasa, lowering chaturanga, upward facing dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Let's all meet in downward facing dog. We've got that to do, left leg. Here we go, left leg goes high. Let's take a bend. Next out breath, left elbow, left knee. And breathe in, three-legged dog. Next out breath, knee to centre. Looking forwards. Breathe in, three-legged dog. And then next out breath, left knee, right elbow and hover for 3, for 2, for 1. Flip that left foot through. Flip onto left side, reach up with right hand. Rock star pose. 3 breaths. 2, 1. Release that down. Step back into your high plank. Come into your extended child's pose or take a vinyasa. Woo! Well done everyone. I'm warm this morning. Blimey. Oh, and we're going to close our practice. You can either come into any version of child's pose or you can join me in Shavasana. I think I need a corpse pose this morning after that. Important part of the practice. This is where you're allowing your body and mind to absorb all the hard work from your yoga. Just close the eyes and allow a slowing down of the heart, slowing down. Most of our poses this morning, we were engaging every single muscle to hold that position. By contrast, this pose, you are letting go, you are releasing every single muscle, just releasing tension. Spending a few moments here in Shavasana. Connecting to your breath. Feel free to stay here as long as you like. I'm coming out. Oh, well done everyone. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for joining me every week. We've done 23 sessions in total. That is amazing. Keep up the good work, everyone. Keep up with your yoga practice, and hopefully I'll see some of you in class again very soon.
Lots of love. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Have a lovely day. Bye.